It is 5 o'clock. I don't guess I need this mic. It's 5 o'clock, and so we're going to go ahead and get started. We our tradition and kind of our method of our board meeting is that we typically take the first few minutes and or the first few moments and pray or silently reflect on things that are going on in our community, especially in our school system. Again, you notice that Mr. Gant is not with us. He, as most of you know, he's been sick for a couple of months now, and he wasn't feeling good today. So we thought maybe he would be strong enough to come back, but he just was too weak to come back tonight. So by all means, keep Mr. Gant in your thoughts and your prayers, and we hope that he's back sooner rather than later. So lots of other things going on. We've got the holidays coming up, so be mindful of that. And we have a lot of students in our system who are cared for and watched after once they leave the schoolhouse, but then we have a lot who are not. So I always be mindful of those students too. So if you'll take this moment with me, and we will pray or have silent reflection, and then we'll carry on with our business. So let's bow with me. Thank you. So we will now call this session of the Jackson County Board of Education into order. First on our agenda is we would like to make a motion to approve this agenda as it is presented. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
All right. Mr. Matthews is going to make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Guess is second for that. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, but since Mr. Matthews made the motion, we should have done this to begin with, but we want to welcome Mr. Mike Matthews to our board. He's going to be an asset to this board. He is not an educator, so he's going to have a different view on things, and sometimes that's good. So Mike, we appreciate you being here. We do have a motion and have a second, no discussion, so we're going to move on a vote to approve this agenda. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is yes, so this agenda has been approved. The first order of business on our agenda is we have an executive session. Mr. Porter, do we have cause to go to executive session?
Yes, sir. You can go into executive session to discuss good name and character of an individual and for disciplinary matters.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Porter. So that being said, we are going to entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I move to go in executive session.
Mr. West makes a motion to go into executive session. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? And then we'll vote to go in. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is yes. So we are now in executive session. If you are not part of the student portion of our executive session, we're going to ask that you step out. We will now entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
I move to come out of executive session.
Mr. West makes a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, Mr. Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? And we'll vote to move out of executive session. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is yes, so we are now in executive session. I would like to add an item to the agenda just immediately before we go into general business.
I move to
Okay,
add an item to the agenda.
all right, and Mr. West made a motion to add an item, and that item is going to be to consider superintendent's recommendation on student discipline. So Mr. West has made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds that. Any discussion? And we'll move to add the item. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is yes, so that item has been added to the agenda. We will now take that up. We would like to consider a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation on student discipline.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Matthews makes that motion. I'll second that. Is there any discussion? Then we will move to approve the superintendent's recommendation for student discipline. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is yes. So that item carries. Now under general business, we have A, consider a motion for any corrections, additions, or deletions to the September 27th, 2018 special called, or the 27th, September the 27th, 2018 meeting, the special called October the 3rd meeting, and the work session on October the 17th minutes.
I make that move.
Okay, that's a mouthful. Mr. West makes motions. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any discussion? And we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
And myself is yes, motion carries. Item B, these all, item B and C are going to pertain to Mr. Matthews and his new appointment to this board. But B says, acknowledge that prior to the meeting that new board member Mike Matthews was given copies of the School Board Governance Improvement Act, the Model Code of Conduct for Jackson County Board Members, Board of Education, and Certificate of Affirmation School Board Member. Mr. Matthews, did you receive those?
Yes.
Okay. Have you signed any of those that need to be signed and returned to Jana Pope?
Yes.
Okay, Jana says that that's true. So we're going to let that one roll. C, acknowledge that Board Member Mike Matthews signed and returned to the Superintendent a Certificate of Affirmation of School Board Member form. Mr. Matthews, did you receive that and
Yes.
sign and return it to Mr. Dukes?
I have.
Okay, Mr. Dukes, you received that?
I have.
We have that on file. So those are just acknowledging that those steps have been taken care of. Mr. Matthews will also have some special training that he has to get in within a certain amount of time as part of the School Board Governance Act. So he will take care of that, and we should be clear there. D, consider a motion to approve the financials for September 2018. The total payroll expenditures were $3,727,109.22, and the total non-payroll expenditures, $1,672,034.81. I'll make a motion to approve those financial statements. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds that. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, then we'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is yes, that motion carries. E, consider a motion to approve the system level resource officer agreement. C attached. I think that has been emailed to us, and there's also a copy there.
I make that move.
Okay, Mr. West makes a motion to approve that. Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Matthews seconds. Any discussion? We are thankful to have an opportunity to add possibly to our resource officers. We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is yes, that motion carries. F, consider a motion to approve the 2018-2019 technology plan.
I make that move.
Mr. West makes a motion to approve that.
I second.
Mr. Matthews is going to second that. Any discussion? No discussion, then we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, that motion carries. G, consider a motion to approve the data governance policy. It is also attached.
I make that move.
Mr. West makes the motion. Is there a second?
I
Second.
second.
Okay. Mr. Matthews seconds that. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is yes, that motion carries. Under H, we have job descriptions, and these will be tabled, but we have a job description for a mental health therapist, a project secretary, and an Epcot career tech masonry instructor. So we have those job descriptions. So you can review those. These will be tabled.
On that Epcot Tech Masonry, can I ask that be a 10-month contract? I don't think it's right to have part of the teachers on a 10-month contract, and rest of them on a 9-month contract.
If we're gonna do that, I say we make every teacher in Jackson County a 10-month contract, and that's gonna put us financially where we can't stand on our own 2 feet, but that's the way I feel about that.
This guy has to work in the summer. Every teacher in the county don't work in the summer.
I beg to differ. They're there during the summer, they're there on
They're
nights,
there,
and
but
they're
they
there on
don't-
weekends.
They don't work.
They don't work? You said teachers don't work?
They are there, but this is something he has to do.
The answer is no to 10 months on that. I'm the masonry instructor.
So, as it's stated, this one will be posted and, on this job description for 9 months, so. Any other question about essential functions on any of the three, or any other questions that you have of the superintendent? Then we will let those.
What are we gonna do? Could I ask a question about that? What are you gonna do if this guy has to go to the nationals in summertime? Are we gonna pay for him to go to the nationals, or are we gonna get somebody else that's on 10-month
We'll
contract?
do just
that
like
don't-
we do when these teachers have to take their students to the Beta Convention during the summer, like our FFA teachers take their students to the National Convention, like our coaches take their students to fall camps during the summer, like our teachers attend professional development during the summer. It'll be treated the same way.
Well, you think that's fair then when other teachers is getting paid for it? And this guy's not getting paid for it? Or lady, whoever you are?
I don't know that it's a question about fairness other than just being 9 or 10 months. Superintendent has indicated that he's gonna keep it 9 months. So we will,
Why don't we just make them all 9 months then?
it's a different contractual issue and that was not on, but this is what's on is the job description for this one. Mr. Dukes may take up the thought of making those 9 months at some point in time, but
I don't believe in taking away from somebody in that situation where it's already been given to them. I don't believe in that. So as far as I'm concerned, we will just have some staggered. As an employee leaves there, we'll post it as 9 months.
Well, in 2016, the board voted to give everybody at Epcot a 10-month contract that was in career tech, and everybody that was gonna be hired in the future.
And when I took over, the system was in red, didn't have their 1 month reserve due to that. That was part of the reason. And since then, we have made cuts. Mr. Middleton has worked excellent, and again, we've been able to fund 4 school resource officers. I'm an art teacher. We've hired a technology person, things like that benefit our entire system.
So you're saying this don't benefit the entire system?
I didn't say that, but you asked me a question, and I addressed the question.
Mr. Wright, do you see there's gonna be any issue in getting somebody to apply at a 9-month contract?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
You don't think you're gonna have a problem with the job description hiring somebody in 9-month contract?
I've had several gentlemen that have came and talked to me about it, and I told them Michael will be a 9-month contract, and it didn't appear to deter.
Well, now, you was the one come before us and asked us to make them all 10 months with.
I was.
Well, why did you do that 2 years ago?
There's a considerable difference in the applicant pool between 9 and 10 months.
So you're saying you think you could get a better applicant if you offered a 10-month contract?
Usually when you offer more money for anything, you usually get a little bit different attention to the application side of it.
When we voted on that, wasn't that what we voted on, give them all a 10 month, and anybody that was hired in the future a 10-month contract?
No, not anybody that's hired in the future, that's
I
for
don't
sure.
remember what all said then, I know that at that time they were going to 10 months. I don't know beyond that.
And why did we move them to 10 months? Why did we move them to 10 months? Everybody.
At that point in time, the rationale was seeking better candidates for the positions and taking into account, some of their summertime requirements.
Summertime requirements. That's the reason it's always been a 10-month contract, right?
That's been part of it.
For 32 years. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So
He's got
those
something
will be-
else. He got something
Oh, I'm
else.
sorry.
I was just gonna clarify, is that gonna be tabled again tonight? Was it not presented?
It is tabled because we made a couple changes to all three of them, but tabled till the next meeting, which will be next week.
We still will have time to post it.
Okay, so we will table these until the next meeting. Item I, consider a motion to approve the federal program's class size reduction units. And I won't read those, but you see those, they're listed below. So I have a question about anything that's listed there, or any need to read each of those individually. I guess you good with the list as a whole?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. West, you good with this?
Yes.
All right, you good?
Yes.
Okay. We'll consider a motion to approve the federal program's class size reduction units for 2018-19. We have a motion to approve those.
I move to approve the federal program class size reduction.
All right, Mr. West makes a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, Mike. Mr. Matthews going to second that. Any discussion? We are thankful for that federal money, Mr. Guffey.
Mr. Guff and John Eden and
Guaranteed.
that whole part, Beth, Teresa, they all did.
We're,
David McCray.
the board's thankful for that, but I guarantee you, we're not near as thankful as those teachers are that's had classes that have been running out the doors and windows. So, thank you for your work on that. So we'll now move to a vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is yes, that motion carries. Item J, consider a motion to approve the purchase of books from Follett in the amount of $16,518.24. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? We'll move to vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is yes, that motion carries. Item K, consider a motion to approve the renewal of the mass notifications service from Blackboard in the amount of $16,982.15. Just for clarification, that's our weather.
Our all-call weather alert.
All right. So I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds that. Is there any discussion? Is this an annual or is it?
This is
3
also
years?
the web host. It's web hosting and the mass notification system, and yes, it is annual.
Okay, it's annual. All right. So we will move to a vote on that. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is yes, that motion carries. We have a school calendar for 2019-2020, and that is in our packet of materials here. Mr. Dukes, do you want to?
Yes, this calendar, we put out two options, a later start date or an earlier start date with a full fall break, a full Thanksgiving, and of course a full spring break. And the option that is here before you, which was an earlier start, won by 81.6%. There were 348 responses, and last school year when we did it, we had like 355 responses. So it was the same amount of folks voted.
About 380, what did you say?
348 folks voted this year, and last year we had like 355 folks vote. And this is just to be tabled till the next meeting. That was the results, and it went offline today at 3.
Any questions about the calendar? Okay, then this calendar will be tabled till the next board meeting. M, consider a motion to approve the following overnight field trips. We have 3, Skyline High School, North Sand Mountain, and North Sand Mountain Robotics. So,
I'll make that motion.
okay, we're gonna take those as one. Mr. Matthews is gonna make a motion to accept those. Is there a second?
Second.
I guess is gonna second that. Any discussion? We'll say that this is the first time we've had a school in Jackson County to be represented at the state robotics competition. So hopefully we're building a little momentum there and we'll have more participation as this thing goes on. We'll move vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Yes?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, that motion carries. Under personnel actions, consider a motion to approve the retirement of Sylvia Cooper, custodian at North Jackson High School, effective December the 1st. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds that. Any discussion? We'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is yes, motion carries. B, consider a motion to approve the retirement of Linda Kirk, countywide bus driver, effective January the 1st, 2019.
Make that motion.
Dr. Guest makes a motion.
I second.
Mr. Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? And we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, that motion carries. Under leaves, consider a motion to approve the family medical leave for Emily York, countywide instructional aide, effective October the 15th through November the 13th, 2018. So this is retro. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. West seconds that. Any discussion? We'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. B, consider a motion to approve the family medical leave for Allison Gilbert, teacher at Pisgah, effective October the 15th through January the 11th.
I make that move.
Mr. West makes a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? And we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes. Motion carries. Consider a motion to approve the family medical leave for Amanda Lawson, a teacher at Woodville High School, effective October the 29th through February the 11th. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. West seconds that. Any discussion? We'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider a motion to approve a leave of absence for Michaela Lacey, countywide Indian aide, effective January the 7th through April the 26th.
I make that move.
Beth makes a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? And we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
And myself is a yes, and that motion carries. Under employ, consider a motion to employ Crystal Sullivan, a countywide instructional aide, effective November the 15th.
I make that move.
All right. Mr. West makes a motion. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any discussion? No discussion. We'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is yes, that motion carries. Under coaching, consider a motion to approve the resignation of Charles Manning as the head baseball coach at Skyline, effective November the 6th.
I make that move.
Mr. West makes a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? And we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. B, consider a motion to approve Chase Bolt as a head baseball coach at Skyline.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Matthews makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. West seconds that.
Now, all of these people on here, they already completed all their,
Yes.
I think this one coached for you in the past.
Yes, sir, I got completed last year.
Let's make 100. Close enough.
supposed to make 110. Just kidding.
Close enough. All right. So we have a motion, a second, and he is cleared by the Alabama High School Athletic Association, so we'll vote Mr. West.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider a motion to approve Dan Utter as a non-faculty assistant baseball coach at Skyline.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Mr. Matthews makes that motion. I'll second that. Any
Now, you did say all of these, all of them's clear?
All of them did,
Okay,
coach last year and.
okay.
Yeah. Continuation almost, isn't it, Mr. Davidson? Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guest?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider motion to approve Slade Bellamy as a head softball coach at Skyline.
I moved to approve Slade as head softball coach.
All right, Mr. West makes that motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Mr. Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? Then we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Item E, consider a motion to approve Derek Allen as a non-faculty assistant softball coach at Skyline.
I move to approve Derek.
All right. Mr. West makes a motion. I'll second that. Any discussion? None. We'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider a motion to approve Kim Lewis as assistant softball coach at Skyline.
I move to approve Kim.
Mr. West makes a motion. I'll second that. Any discussion? We'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, that motion carries. Item G, consider a motion to approve Rhonda Saint as the head track coach at Skyline.
I move to approve Miss Saint.
Mr. West makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Matthews second. Any discussion? We'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
And myself is yes, motion carries. H, consider a motion to approve Michael Counts as assistant track coach at Skyline.
I move to approve Mr. Counts, assistant track coach.
Mr. West makes a motion. Is there a second?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? Then we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, that motion carries. I consider a motion to approve Rick Parker as the head golf coach at Skyline.
I move to approve Mr. Parker's head golf coach.
Mr. West makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? We have, did y'all have participants last year in golf, didn't you? Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, motion carries. Consider a motion to approve Hugh Glenn Lewis Jr. as non-faculty volunteer assistant softball coach at Skyline.
I move to approve Mr. Lewis Jr. as a non-volunteer assistant softball coach, and as many softball coaches you got, I just hope you have that many players.
Mr. West makes some motions. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? And we'll vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is a yes. Moving to item 4, that is the election of board members to the officer position. We have to do this every November. So this is the meeting that we address that, especially just having an election. So we've had a change on our board. So typically what we do, normally we have everybody here, and which makes it a little easier to do. But we will take nominations for president, and then we'll take nominations for vice president of the board. If there are 2 nominations for president, we'll vote on those 2. If there are 4 nominations, we'll vote on all 4. But we will entertain nominations for board president at this time.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Gorham.
Dr. Guess nominates me, Mr. Gorham.
I move the nomination be closed.
Anybody else want to add to that?
I move to close the nomination.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I really want to take that quick. So, no others. Then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then we will now take nominations for board vice president.
I nominate Dr. Guess.
Dr. Guess. Any other nominations?
I move the nomination be closed.
Okay. Any opposed to that? All in favor of Dr. Guess as vice president, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Then I'll serve this coming year as president of the board, and Dr. Guess will serve as vice president. We have some recognitions, and Mr. Dukes, do you?
This is a nice award that Miss Merritt has received, and I'm going to turn it over to Stacy Blair and let her take of Classworks and let her take it from here.
Thank you. Well, good evening, board. Thank you very much for having me here tonight. I am coming to you on behalf of Classworks. We are the sponsor for the National Distinguished Principal Award. That is actually run through the class organization. And at the last conference we had for the Alabama Elementary Principals Conference down in Perdido, Miss Merritt has received the nomination from District 10 for Alabama. We only have 10 principals in the state that are nominated for this award. And your district actually includes all of Jackson County, Scottsboro City, Huntsville City, Madison County, and Madison City. So this is quite an honor for Ms. Loria Merritt to be the nominee for District 10 for the National Distinguished Principal of the Year. I've got to know Loria over the last year and a half, and I can say I can truly call her not only a colleague but a friend as well. And I think you have a jewel right here in Jackson County. So the class was very proud to sponsor this program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, can you get their picture up here?
Yeah. We're going to want one more picture. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Come on up here, y'all too.
We'll get our picture. Yes. Man, it's hard to Red Sea here. The Black Sea.
Thank you.
You gonna tweet it out for us tonight?
Absolutely.
Last week's
Absolutely.
well.
Absolutely.
Steve, do you have any other
This has been a short meeting, Mr. Mayor.
recommendations? You have anything else on there?
I believe that's all right now. And can y'all think of anything else? Okay.
We will post announcement for our other meetings coming up, and we'll probably also look at adding another work session at some point in time in the near future, so we'll also get that scheduled out and posted.
Next Tuesday.
You won't have a work session next Tuesday.
No, sir. Mr. Duke says that the next meeting is December 4th at 5 o'clock. So we'll take care of that, some of the business that day. I guess you have anything, Mr. West, you good?
No, I'm good.
Mr. Matthews?
No, sir.
Good. All right, we actually broke Mr. Matthews in on a good meeting. It's 2 hours. So
Three. I get three.
we're gonna see how fast, whose taillights is the first one out of the parking lot. If it's him, we're gonna question how bad he wants to be here. Appreciate you sticking around for our meeting, and thank you for coming to present Miss Merritt's award. We can say one thing about Miss Merritt: regardless of the situation, she loves her kids. So I think that's exactly what you've got to do. Duke's trying to throw me a curveball there. So if there's nothing else, then we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Mr. West makes motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Matthews seconds that. Any discussion? All in favor of adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
You opposed? And we are adjourned. Thank you.